My name is Klaus Lucas. I'm a thermodynamicist, and presently I'm heading a joint initiative between the Berlin-Brandenburg Academy of Sciences and Humanities and the Institute for Advanced Sustainability Studies in Potsdam on the analysis of systemic risks. Systemic risks are present in almost all domains, from the breakdown of technical infrastructures over the exploitation of ecosystems, the financial crisis, up to finally the rather complex behavior of human societies. Typically what happens is that an almost trivial and stochastic event, when arising in an unstable and unfortunate situation, is able to trigger a complete breakdown of a system. As we have recently experienced in the financial crisis, or to some extent also in the refugee crisis and in the breakdown of technical electrical grids and so forth. These events are phenomena of complexity, and complexity science is a relatively new branch of sciences which deals with such type of effects. And we here at the Berlin-Brandenburg Academy of Sciences and Humanities and the Potsdam Institute try to bring together knowledge from various disciplines in order to be able to analyze such effects more fundamentally than it was done before. Complexity science originally was established in the natural sciences, for instance thermodynamics, which is my science. And there are many analogies between the empirical knowledge that we have from the natural sciences and in other domains. And so the real goal of our initiative is to fathom the potentials of transferring knowledge from the natural sciences to at least also the social sciences in order to better understand the mechanisms of systemic risks and also perhaps design systems in such a way that they can exploit their inherent properties of self-organization to stay away from critical situations and avoid breakdowns altogether. Financial systems and the financial crisis is one of the many examples of systemic risk. In fact, the very expression or the notion of systemic risk was first coined, to my knowledge, with respect to financial systems. The established theory of financial actions, which is more or less an equilibrium theory, is evidently not able to tackle the problems that we have seen during the financial crisis about 2008 and so. It became evident that these events there were characterized by a certain dynamic which is not normally appreciated. So in that respect, I expect that we can make significant contributions by using the knowledge about dynamical systems and complexity theory in the understanding of financial crisis. Well, the computational abilities that we have today with our large computers enable us, of course, to simulate very large systems which typically are of the size that financial systems are. And it is one of the big hopes of the future that we will be able to use agent-based models in a way that make it possible to understand and in a way predict future behavior. One thing must be clear: it is not foreseeable in any future that we can really predict precisely what will be happening in the future in such complicated systems. But we can study scenarios, and we can try to find out the rules and the mechanisms between the interactions of the agents that get a system into complicated and unsafe situations. By such scenario calculations, I believe that we will be able to understand much more about how such systemic risks come about, and by that way to avoid them.